Hi, I'm Gabe's mom, in case you hadn't guessed. Um, Although I am currently a personal assistant and end of life companion, I have a degree in English education, and I was one of the founders of the Sleeping Giant Community School here in the Mission Valley almost 20 years ago. It was a alternative grade school, and we were open for 2 years before we closed. We failed because we had a lack of support from our community. We had only 3 people doing all the work, and only one of them was paid, and they were not paid a living wage. And we have very little financial support. As Gabe mentioned, he attended public school from 2nd to 6th through 6th grade. Although he got good grades, he struggled with the social and academic system, as he mentioned. I was called several times by the principal for Gabe fighting with other students, and he even got suspended once. His favorite time of year in public school were the 3 weeks of standardized testing. He couldn't wait to get to school on those testing days. And he would sharpen all his pencils, and he would get gum because he heard then you'd even score higher if you chewed gum during the tests. And he did extremely well on those tests, scoring very high or a perfect score. Most other days, it was difficult to get him to go to school. And when he came home, he was often upset and angry. He would go outside and destroy cardboard boxes or be very quiet and sullen. The psychiatrist and author Dr. Bessel van der Kolk says, at their best, schools can function as islands of safety in a chaotic world. They can teach children how their bodies and brains work and how they can understand and deal with their emotions. Since he's attended Glacier Lake School, he's only been written up a few times for forgetting to sign out as he leaves school. Here at GLS, the students make the rules. They've passed over 200 laws. If a student breaks a rule, then they can be written up by a staff member or other students. And then the student and the person who wrote them up go to the judicial committee, or they call it JC, and which consists of students and one staff member. The committee decides a fair consequence. If the student doesn't agree with the consequence, then they can have a trial. And then usually the accused and the accuser both choose another student to represent them. And then the students also serve on the jury. This system has worked very well for Gabe because he's involved in the rule making and also the consequences. He understands and accepts responsibility for his actions. Gabe is hard of hearing and wears a hearing aid in his left ear. The small class size, independent learning, and strong, positive, community-focused environment has enabled him to feel comfortable wearing his hearing aid and be completely involved in his learning without difficulty due to his hearing loss. That first fall of Glacier Lake School was a hard transition for Gabe. After a few weeks, he started having nightmares. He would dream that he had built a great big building and it would fall down and everybody would die in the building. Or he was taking care of a little kid and the little kid would die. And one day when we were talking about his nightmares, he said, I know what these nightmares are about. For the first time ever, I'm responsible for my own education and I don't know what I'm doing. After more discussion, he realized that although none of us adults really know if we will succeed, we all ideally try to do our best at what we love and keep learning along the way. I'm so grateful for the education that Gabe has received at Glacier Lake School. He's excited to go to school and comes home relaxed and pleasant. He wakes up in the morning by himself, packs his own lunch, and always has done that. He's a well-adjusted, happy teenager at home, although instead of doing his chores, he would still rather hang out with his kid or his friends from school, play video games, or run around in the woods. He is able to self-regulate and accomplish self-imposed goals. He knows the importance of being involved in his community and working together for positive change. He understands that learning is a lifelong, exciting experience. Because of the guidance that he has received at Glacier Lake School and the autonomy that he has developed here, I'm confident that he will be able to find his own meaningful path in his adult life.